Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we are doing another Leonardo DiCaprio movie as promised for every Tuesday. Coming up, one of these Tuesdays coming up, it will be Tuesday, March 30th, so I know it's a long time from now, but when we get there we will be taking a Tuesday off because we're going to be doing a Godzilla / Kong series leading up to Godzilla vs. Kong, so prepare for that. But today we are still going to be doing a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. This is a movie I had no idea existed, and it was on the list, and so I watched it. And today I watched Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond was released in 2006. It was written by Charles Levitt and directed by Edward Zwick. So, before we get started into the actual review, I do want to mention a couple things about this, like the structure of the movie in terms of watching it. So, in case you guys wanted to watch this movie, it is on Hulu, regular streaming Hulu. So, if you have a regular Hulu account, you can watch this movie, and I would not recommend watching it with subtitles. The accents are really hard in this movie, so it's hard to understand. And I always have subtitles on anyway. The subtitles do not line up correctly with the dialogue, so it'll be like hello, and then like while the other person's talking, it'll say hello, and like it's just not quite lined up. I tried a variety of options on how to fix that, and I couldn't. So, like Superman. I would recommend not watching it on Hulu if you are reliant on subtitles. Again, I'm not typically reliant on them, but the accents in this movie are extremely difficult to follow, so I did attempt to watch it with subtitles, and it didn't work. So I ended up watching on my computer where I could have headphones on and I could hear better. So for those of you who don't know what Blood Diamond is about, it's kind of complicated. Essentially, there used to be a war, like a real war, that went on because of diamonds. Essentially, people were using slavery and stuff to get these diamonds. They were kidnapping children and saying, listen, I'll give you a child if you give me a diamond, and then they would sell them to people in America and London. And essentially this is about one of those guys that they're looking for the diamonds, and he basically takes this colored person and says, hey, listen, I'll help you find your family if you give me the diamond. And so they go on this huge adventure trying to find his son, and of course Leonardo DiCaprio's character is just like, hey, I just want the diamond, so whatever we need to do to get there is fine. But it's a really cool story of love and loss, but it also teaches us an important story and an important lesson that I'm excited to talk about. So I'm going to talk about that first. So, I'll talk about what I liked first. So I really like this movie in terms of structure. This movie just felt pleasing to watch. It was long. It was very long. But I enjoyed the idea that we watched this entirely linearly. They could have made it so we watched part of the end first, but they didn't, and I appreciate that. So thank you, movie. Very linear, and it felt very easy to follow in terms of when it was night, when it was day. The part shot at night seemed just as good as the part shot during the day, which is very good. I did have a couple issues with some of the relationship issues, like the fact that it took so long for Solomon and Danny to get together. We could have probably sped that process up a little bit. And there's a couple other relationship problems that I had, such as, so the son, Dia, when he is in the army, so Dia is the son, and he gets basically stolen by this army. And so there's an army of children. There's thousands of children, probably even currently, that are enslaved basically and forced to be soldiers. And so Dia is forced to be a soldier, even to the point where, he doesn't care if he kills his father at that point. That bothers me because as maybe as true as that would be, it didn't feel very real. We got to this point where we realized that the soldiers may be treating the son a little bit better than we would expect, right? Because he's like, all right, we're going to label you captain. We expect you to be good, blah, 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 blah. It's like a false sense of niceness, really, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I understood it. But it shouldn't be to the point where it was better than the father's love. Because as soon as the boy saw the father, the boy should have been like, oh my gosh, my father, I've been missing you forever. So either we didn't get enough of the negative father-son relationship at the beginning, or we didn't get enough of the positive reinforcement that the army gave to the child. We needed one of those two things to elevate the idea that the son doesn't really like the father during the transaction period. Not necessarily, I didn't think it was necessarily bad. I just thought that maybe we could have used more, because I kind of felt dumb that the father finally found the kid and the kid was like, I don't really like you, so bye. It was weird, and it didn't really reflect the other parts of the movie that felt very real and very interesting, like the ending of the movie that I'm really excited to discuss. So, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the movie, or you don't, or you like spoilers or whatever, like, just don't go past this if you are sensitive to spoilers. Danny dies in the end of the movie. Danny dies because he gets shot trying to get the diamond, and then he and Solomon and the son are climbing the hill, and Danny gives that amazing call to Maddie, and honestly, it got me teared up. I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. So I was really happy that we got to see that part, and then we went on to explain that this is a real thing, and that people should be careful with when buying diamonds. I never had to buy diamonds because there was only one person that I was even considering getting married to, and she dumped me, so there's that. But I never had to buy a diamond, and I understood that this was a thing, but I didn't really understand how big a thing it is. It's a big deal. When you buy diamonds, you have to be careful. You should always be conscious and ask if it's a blood diamond or a conflict diamond, as they're calling him now. This taught me that, buying a diamond isn't worth it if other people are going to die. That being said, this is going to get slightly controversial. Okay. That is so similar to vegans or vegetarians saying, hey, don't eat meat, because when you eat meat or you purchase the meat, you're encouraging the slaughter of animals, which is entirely necessarily true. We could discuss that all day. But why is it that I feel like I should be careful when buying diamonds, but I'm not careful when buying meat? Is it because I need meat to survive? Maybe. I don't need it to survive, but I feel like I do. That's a conflict of interest in my brain, and I think it's a really interesting one that maybe we should all think about. Do I care if the diamond has killed people? Which, the moral and correct answer should be yes. Well, then why don't I care when they kill an animal for food? I don't know. I can't place it. I can't do it. But this movie did teach me that it is an issue and we should be very conscious and aware of it. So thank you, movie, for teaching lessons. I'm going to be up all night thinking about cows. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the acting. We have Leonardo DiCaprio as Danny Archer. So, Danny Archer is really a fun character. He's smart, he's funny, he's smirky, he's all those things that a Leonardo DiCaprio character is. But we've seen him, he's grown up now, especially when we've seen him in the Aviator and The Departed and all these movies where we're like, okay, well, he's definitely adult Leonardo DiCaprio now, which for me has always been a distinct difference. It's like, oh, he's an adult or oh, he's not adult. There was a couple parts where it was like, ooh, he's kind of both, but in a wrong, negative way in the previous movies. In this movie, full adult, but we got to see some of the really fun stuff that we got to see in Gilbert Grape, for instance. We got to see some fun stuff, some fun acting stuff that he hasn't been able to do in a while. This is one that I really enjoyed, particularly the ending when he's calling his girlfriend and he's like, hey, I'm about to die. And you can just really see that he's young. You can see he's old, but he feels young in the moment. I wish I could explain it better, honestly, but I just saw it and I was like, hey, that reminds me of young Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm really excited that we got to see some of the younger aspects of his acting and increase it and to a degree, really, in this movie. We get to see, not only do we get to see physical old Leonardo DiCaprio, we get to see fun and interesting characters like when he was younger. Because in my opinion, so far, his younger movies have generally been better. This one's really, really good and really solid in retrospect to the fact that, we get a younger Leonardo DiCaprio character while being older. I thought that was really interesting. Jimon Hounsou, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, as Solomon Vandy. So Solomon is a father, and he's a husband, and he's living, and basically he is attacked and told he has to find diamonds for the government. So he goes out and he tries to find diamonds. He finds one. He hides it. He buries it, and then he has to go find his family His family to him is more important than the diamond. I think that the character is really interesting. I liked the character a lot. I like how he was always focused on family no matter what. That was one thing that I was looking for. I was looking for a slip up where I was like, okay, we'll get the diamond first. No, he never did that. He always was focused on family at every moment of every part of this film. And then towards the end, we see, right? We see that when he gives the diamond to Danny, we see that he doesn't quite trust him, right? But what's even more interesting, in my opinion, about that transaction was the end part where when we see that Danny is hurt, he's like, hey, I can carry you. We're going to get out of here. He treats him like family because at that moment they both realize that what's more important than the diamond is Danny's life. Danny dies anyway, but still, really enjoyed that moment of change, really. It's not change for Solomon more so than it's change for Danny, where they can realize that something's more important than other things. And I think that was really cool that we got to use Solomon's character as a device to see Danny's character change. And finally, Jennifer Connelly as Maddie Bowen. So Maddie is a journalist, and she basically kind of falls in love with Danny, but in an innocent way. You know, it's like, hey, you're a really cool guy, I like you. They get into some fun fights, but we realize that they have a similar, feeling for, we want to find what's right and wrong, but we have to find a balance of, like where the journalist doesn't like writing about bad things, but it's hard not to write about bad things because bad things are everywhere. And Danny's like, hey, I do bad things. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. So I think we got to really see that awesome connection there. And I think really the whole movie is just building Danny's character. We get to see more Danny through other people, which I think was really cool. And I think Jennifer Connelly did a really good job with her part. And I really enjoyed her, particularly in the end when she's, helping Solomon. She could have easily been like, oh, well, Danny's dead. That's the only person I had in connection with Solomon. But we got to see that she really cares for Solomon as well, not only just Danny. But those are my thoughts on Blood Diamond. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend streaming it. It is on Hulu. I had a lot of fun watching it, and it's one that I probably will watch at some point before I fall asleep at some night or whatever. I really genuinely enjoyed it, and I hope you guys do too. And I'm going to go ahead and give this movie an A. This movie was originally going to get an A minus. But then that was like 10 minutes before the movie ended, and then the last 10 minutes were like really, really tear-jerky and really, really good and really solid. It wrapped everything up in such a perfect way that I was like, I have to give it an A. I really did enjoy this movie. I hope you guys do too. But that's really all for today. Coming this week, so yesterday, if everything went well, Your Honor came out. I'll be filming that on Sunday, which is Valentine's Day, which for me is not a holiday. So then Your Honor was yesterday, today's Blood Diamond. Tomorrow's Spider-Man Homecoming, which I'm filming right after I'm done filming this one. I'm so excited to talk about it. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for Spider-Man Homecoming because I'm excited to talk about it. It looks like it might be a longer video too. There's a lot of actors. Free Held is on Thursday. I really don't know a lot about it. I know it's about LGBTQ rights, but it's got Steve Carell in it. I don't really know what it's about other than that, but I'm watching it tomorrow. So it'll be available on Thursday. And Friday is Watchmen, the TV show, which I filmed well over a month ago. But I wanted it to come out in terms of when the request came out, but I finished watching Watchmen way too fast. So it came out, I finished it and uploaded it, and it's coming out Friday. And I'm really excited for you guys to watch it because that's another really good one. This is going to be a good week, I think, assuming that Free Held is good, and assuming that the rest of Your Honor goes well. But we'll see. But that's going to do it for me today. As always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.